The Denver Nuggets, for the first time in franchise history, has finally won their first ever NBA championship. After a grueling 82-game season dealing with tons of setbacks with injuries and whatnot, the Denver Nuggets emerged number one across 30 teams in the NBA to hold up the NBA's finals trophy. And it wasn't easy. It took probably the best player in the world in NikolaJokic to have one of the greatest individual playoff runs we've ever seen to help lead this team to the championship. Jamal Murray was coming off an ACL injury going into this regular season, having no clue how he would end up. But turning out, he actually turned out to be even better coming back pre-ACL injury, and his contributions can't be overstated. And the rest of the supporting cast, specifically the trades and the moves they did in the offseason to acquire Aaron Gordon in 2021, get both KCP and Bruce Brown in this last offseason to add in much needed perimeter defense and movement shooting and extra ball handling, has tremendously helped this Nuggets team get over the hump and win their first ever NBA championship. And what's funny about everything I just outlined is that the Denver Nuggets are probably not done yet. The Denver Nuggets average age on the team is 27 years old. That's the second youngest NBA champion in the last 40 years, only second to the 2014-2015 Warriors run. Are you now beginning to see the point I'm getting to? This may very well be the year we remember as the start of the Denver Nuggets dynasty, potentially. And there's still so much left to be unpacked with this team, since it still has a lot of potential that is left unlocked that honestly could play great dividends in these next upcoming years that I will be getting into in this video. Obviously, the first person you look at when you start giving the credit to this team's success, and a large portion of it should go to NikolaJokic, who before this year won back-to-back MVP and probably was gonna win his third one if he wasn't plagued with a lot of the off-court drama that was happening and the bad stretch to end the regular season. However, Jokic answered the call during the playoffs after dealing with a lot of banter if he can truly win the NBA championship as your best player, and those narratives have just been shushed. I just want to drop some stats for you guys to understand how crazy of a playoff run Jokic just had, because for the entire playoffs, Jokic averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, 9 assists, had shooting splits of 54% from the field, shot 46% from 3 on 3 attempts, and was a +5 in true shooting, which honestly is one of the ridiculous stat lines I've ever seen by a player for an entire playoff run. Yet it keeps going. He now has the most playoff triple doubles ever in the playoffs, the most assists ever by a center, and is the first player in NBA history to score 30 points, 20 rebounds, and have 10 assists in a game in the playoffs. And to top it off, NikolaJokic is the first player in NBA history to have more than 600 points total in the playoff run, more than 260 rebounds, more than 190 assists. He is one of one in that category. One. No other player in NBA history has been able to replicate this greatness that Jokic was able to achieve for an entire playoff run. Once you actually also take a look beyond the stat sheet, NikolaJokic proved he's, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the greatest offensive players we've ever seen. And to put more of a microscope into the finals, into the performance he was performing, Spo was putting in impossible situations on how to guard NikolaJokic on a night-to-night basis. He tried putting his players in single coverages with minimal help. That didn't work. He tried digging when NikolaJokic was operating in the post. That didn't work. He tried sending double teams to try to throw him out of rhythm. That didn't work. And he even tried mixing in zone a lot more to actually get him out of his spots. And you can guess what happened. That didn't work. And that's because NikolaJokic is such a mismatch expert. It just isn't fair that NikolaJokic is 7 foot and pretty much has all the skill sets you would want from a scorer as a center, yet he also possesses the best passing ability in the NBA. In my opinion, top 5 all time, compacted with amazing court vision and IQ that probably makes him the toughest matchup to guard in the NBA. And the Robin for this team, Jamal Murray, deserves hefty amount of praise as well. I'd argue as much as Jokic. Coming off an ACL injury, he had to miss a lot of the offseason due to rehab, and he had to go into a new NBA season completely not knowing how that knee would be able to react playing in NBA type space again. But yet Jamal Murray has exceeded that and somehow got even better, and his synergy with Jokic was just as good as it's ever been. In fact, them two are the only two players in NBA history for an entire playoff run to both average 25 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, and 5 plus assists for the entire run, which is just a remarkable feat that just shows more further proof just how good their tandem are. That two-man action became a fundamental aspect of how the Nuggets were able to be such a great offense through the regular season and playoffs. Both of them are such lethal offensive creators in two different ways, but they can mesh their skill sets really well together. They're able to produce high levels of offense as a duo that is probably better than any other duo in the NBA. Because Murray is such a good pull-up shooter and shot creator, he always demands the respect of the pick and roll big involved in that action. And in times, it creates tons of advantages for Jokic in the short row. And at that point, if you're giving the league's best passer and arguably the best scorer any type of advantage, it can get ugly. We saw the Heat try this method by blitzing Murray in the pick and roll, but it turned out how you would expect. It wasn't the greatest of the method that they could have ran. And somehow, that isn't even the most surprising feat the Nuggets accomplished this postseason to me. It was how well they were able to dial in on that defensive end and be able to string together enough positive possessions on that end that helped fuel the offense. The Nuggets' biggest question mark heading into these playoffs was how good the defense would be able to hold up against other elite offenses in the NBA. And I would say they answered the call due to these factors. Jokic was heavily under the microscope because it's widely known and regarded the most important positions on the court for defense is the center position. And because Jokic was on the weaker side on that floor, it made many people very hesitant on the Nuggets' ceiling in the playoffs. However, this year, as I stated earlier, they added new acquisitions in the offseason, and other players improving on the defensive end helped hide and shy away Jokic's defense. Instead of him being the highlight of the Nuggets' issues, he became a pretty crucial cog in the machine. Added in KCP, Bruce Brown, and replacing them with Monty Morris and Will Barton was a tremendous upgrade for the Nuggets because it gave them much needed size in the guards position and also gave them more flexibility in their lineups and coverages that they can run to help out Jokic. And the improvements from Aaron Gordon and MPJ played a huge role as well, since them being the weak side tag mans and being the backline rim protectors, they needed to be as good as they were this season and in the playoffs to be able to bolster that defensive infrastructure that made Jokic look like that legit plus defender in lineups that involved them. I, for one, was very skeptical of the Denver Nuggets defense and feared that it would play a huge role in them falling short of their eventual goal. And man, did they prove me wrong this year. This Denver Nuggets team is here to stay for a very long time. They're young. They pretty much have their core pieces locked up under contract. And even Bruce Brown, who's up for a player option this year, who most likely will opt out to earn more money, has already voiced his opinion that he is very eager to come back and is very set on playing with these guys next year. And as long as they're able to keep this core of guys intact and with some moves around the edges, this team may very well be prone to win the championship next year and probably many more. Of course, it isn't the highest of likelihoods. The odds of a team repeating is very scarce, but they have the talented roster with, again, probably the best player in the world, with one of the best coaches in the league, with one of the best rosters in the league. The Nuggets are here to stay. And don't be shocked next year if they somehow replicate what they just did this year. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit the like button since it helps my video perform better on the algorithm. Also hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell to always be notified whenever I upload a video. And real quick, I wanted to let you guys know that I now do a podcast with my good friend Mars over at his channel called the Hoop Talk Podcast, where we go over various NBA talks without all the narrative talks that be going on ESPN and Fox, but more nuanced basketball discussions. If that's something that you guys are interested in, go subscribe to Mars' channel over at Mars Talk Sports. The link will be in the description down below, where we go live every weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, 5 o'clock Eastern time. And I hope all of you guys go over there if you're interested. And real quick also, every person that's watched my videos over this past year, I very much appreciate the support, and hopefully continue support you guys show on my video, because it helps me make more of this same content that you guys love. And hopefully this off season, and especially next season, I will be able to post more consistent on a schedule that will be more filled with enjoyable content that is actually coming out more consistently. So, but with that all being said, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope all of you who's watched this video have a great and blessed day.